30 plus years separate the Nymphéas and the Vétheuil painting. It's very interesting to contrast and compare the different approaches of how he has changed his painting style. It's a very interesting way of looking at Monet's progression throughout his career. We're excited to be offering in the Impressionist Modern Art evening sale this season 2 wonderful paintings by Claude Monet. The earliest of these is a depiction of Vétheuil on the Seine. This was a view that he painted in a series, and in fact, so enamored of this location was he that he went back about 20 years later in circa 1900 and painted several more canvases. One of those pictures was in the collection of Sergei Shukin and recently exhibited at the Fondation Louis Vuitton in Paris. In the early stages of Monet's career, he is still looking back at the basic composition of a classic landscape format. So you have in the lower register the water of the Seine, the central register is the horizon line that includes the town of Vétheuil with its 10th century church of Notre Dame, and the upper register is this extraordinary mix of clouds in different shades of grey, white and blue. And you see how already this is quite a novelty, certainly for contemporary viewers, because the surface is not particularly blended, it's fractured into these small brush strokes, and from a few steps back from the picture it really comes together. And that was what was revolutionary at its time and what was considered almost to be abstract painting. The other work is one of these extraordinary large-scale canvases of the Nymphéas series that Monet produced towards the end of his life. Here he's taken a different perspective. We are immersed in this vision of his garden at Giverny, where we see this mirror-like flat surface of the water reflecting the water lily plants and the beautiful colours that he draws out, but also reflecting the surroundings of the pond, so all the trees and the reeds and the light and the weather that was present that day. These works really allowed him to be incredibly expressive. He wasn't constrained by the frame, and in fact he dispenses with the frame entirely. And so what we see in the Nymphéas that we have is this incredible loose brush stroke, this spontaneous energy that he brings to the painting. The surface of the canvas oscillates between almost like a topography of untouched canvas to areas of thick impasto. This was, in many senses, the birth of an expressionist, abstract style of painting. These are the works that have been incredibly influential on later generations of artists.